Hey, what's up, Road to Results family? Hey, Ray here. I'm Ray. You already know Rhy. Hey, look, here August 4th through August 5th. Eric, I always say it, and I mentioned in the podcast, hey, yes, I do real estate. Yes, I am in real estate. But I remind people what you do can never be bigger than why you do it. And regardless of that, I feel that I don't enjoy real estate. Enjoying isn't a requirement for getting it done. And why I do everything is for my girl is right here. Like it is my family, it is my purpose. So I move at a pace that I have been successful in real estate through Jamal's Make Real Estate Real and my own application of who I naturally am. Hey, so August 4th and August 5th, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to do an online seminar. You can sign up for it in the link in the description of this podcast. Hey, I'm going to be doing Real Estate 101, how I got started from military to millionaire. Hey, speak those things that aren't as though as if they are. So take the action steps, take necessary if you want to get in, join me for July 25th for about $100 off, and then so we can actually get going, so we can give you the steps necessary to get started. It's not even about the action, it's about why you do it. It's about the person. So you have to become the right person to make this action step successful. So I look forward to seeing you there. Hey, August 4th and August 5th. We'll have opportunity to do some Q&A, answer some questions, some concerns, but give you the fuel you need to go ahead and move forward and start building your portfolio the right way. Let's go.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another Road to Results podcast where we're all about uncovering the mindset journey. I'm Rhy, that's Ray, and that's Ray, and I'm Rhy. Either way you slice the pie. It is a beautiful, beautiful day today. Again, I'm always appreciating the weather as we are here in the summertime. Lots going on over here in South Carolina. I'm sure there's a bunch of things going on in your way out there in Texas. So talk to us, Ray. What's good, bro? What's new? What you up to? Let the people know what's going on with Big Ray out that way.
Man, what's going on out here in Texas, bro? It's hot.
Yeah.
It is hot. You know, it's like, you're like, when summer gonna be here? And the summer gets here, you're like, bro, it's hot. We ain't never satisfied. No, but this week is like the first week that we're straight in the hundos all week long. So, you know, it takes a little bit of adjustment. But we had a pool day yesterday. We are heading to a water park as soon as we're done with this, you know, load the truck up. We're going to spend the day there. It's an indoor, it's like a resort style. Going to have a little, you know, daddy-daughter time. We're going to chill out. Yeah, and just really just, you know, spend some time together. You know, that's why we do it. Remember, what you do can never be bigger than why you do it. And that's why I do it. So
Exactly. No, I love that.
But,
I love that. And now go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, man, I was like, you've been traveling quite a bit yourself. I mean, we both have, but you know, you was up there hustling and bustling down in the, like you said, down in Miami.
Down in Miami. Yeah.
How'd
So
that go?
first of all, let's just shout out one of our mentors. All right, 9 to 5 Millionaire. I'm rocking the shirt. As you can see, your level of exposure will determine your level of
Success.
All right,
But hold on, okay, we're gonna get back to that.
and so I just
That
want to
just
preface
sparked
this.
the
all
entire
right?
episode.
Road to Results. We are in the UOU Mastermind cohort number 1. And at the time of this recording, we are getting ready to intro cohort number 2. And this shirt, I was like, all right, what am I going to wear today for the pod? And I was like, well, this is definitely a testament to the mastermind. The shirt you're wearing, the shirt I'm wearing. And so I want to just preface, yes, I was in Miami. I did a 3-day personal development training or professional development training for 240 schools in Miami-Dade County, elementary schools and a couple K through 8. They had a whole week long of training for restorative practices. So they had the high school teachers, middle school teachers, but we had the contract, we as in the nonprofit I'm partnered with, Soul Shop, and we did a professional development training one day, but the same training 3 days in a row so that we can serve the 240 schools. So we had counselors, principals, teachers, and there was a bunch of other folks in different positions to go to the school to teach the peace path. And what were we doing, bro? We were just basically talking about emotional intelligence, self-regulation, self-awareness, empathy, healthy communication, and restorative practice. So we gave them a full day worth of training on the tools. And then what I like to do is just the strategies, right? And so the crazy part, so let me just kind of bring this back. So this is work that I've been doing for the last 9 years. So this part of the work I do is nothing new. But when we went to Michigan and we connected with Katie Davis, shout out to Katie Davis, the literacy lady, and the Playbook program, which is a program that's under ETA. We got to share. And from that, it's spurring another opportunity that I'm connecting with Katie on actually next Tuesday. And we're going to be talking about potential opportunities where I can also support the program with facilitation. And then Devontae, remember Devontae from Phenomenal
Mr.
Life?
Woodson.
Yeah, Mr. Woodson, him and Annalisa have been seeing the work I've been doing online and have been reaching out because they work with youth in Vegas and want to figure out how can we collaborate? What can we do to work together? So all this to say, your level of exposure, there it is. I raise on the road, the results. These are the results that we are getting
bro.
because of the level of exposure. And I'm going to say it again. I got to give credit where credit is due. Ray is great at pushing. He is great. If you don't know Ray already, and again, pushing with love. He pushes me in ways that I'm not always ready for. But if I don't get pushed in the door, and he's not pulling, because remember that episode we talked about dead weight. Like it's not dead weight. He's pushing me into areas and directions that are allowing me to have the different levels of exposure. And here's the thing, y'all, when we think about exposure and what's been really coming up for me is we're being exposed to great communities, but we're also exposing what we do and who we are. So when E was like, oh, I didn't know you work with kids like that. Oh, I didn't know you do virtual. He was like, I got a school in Temecula. I got some schools in Temecula. Do you do California? He goes, well, let's talk. And then, of course, when you're exposed in what you do and who you are and your most authentic self, and people see you living in your gift or stepping into your gift, different levels of success. But if you don't have the community, if you don't have the people that's going to push you, if you don't have the people that's going to love on you, if you don't have the people that's going to see you more than you see yourself sometimes and call you out on it, again, how far are we really going to get, or how far are you going to get? So yeah, man, it's been a blessing. And again, people from the community seeing me in my element in what I do and are seeing the bigger picture and more importantly, the need, right? CJ would always say, you're not a speaker, you're a problem solver. So for those of you who are trying to be speakers, like, don't be a speaker, be a problem solver. And if you could speak on solving problems, you're going to have more opportunities than you can handle.
Facts. Hey, but don't just breeze by the fact you said opportunity coming up next week. You've already had an opportunity that you stepped through from I would say work, but the demonstration that you provided when we were in Michigan. You already had an opportunity. Speak on that real quick.
Which one was that?
The pod. Mass education.
Oh,
mass education.
Yeesh, my fault. Yeah.
My fault. Your bad.
Road to results. No, that is that actually happened. Man, my fault. Yeah. So last week, right, again, back to the idea after. He
said, hold on, we've been getting blessings on blessings on blessings.
Blessings, and we just serving right on a daily. You are, bro. So what ended up happening was, and this was all last minute, after the week after we were in Michigan, Friday afternoon. Matter of fact, I should have had it queued up. Matter of fact, let's see if I can. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. One time for the one time. See if we can play this right here. Right here, because I want people to see like receipts. All right, Friday at 1:47 p.m. Let's see.
Hey Ryan, hope you're doing well. I have a quick random question for you. I had it on my list of things to do anyways, to grab you for our education podcast at some point in the near future. If you're interested, I assumed you might be. And I actually just had a spot open up for tomorrow morning. So Saturday morning at 9 a.m. we are recording. And I have one other guest that's going to be joining. I usually try to just do one guest at a time. But a couple of our, Vondale and Sam, who are normally with us, are not able to be there tomorrow morning. So it's just me and E and one other guest. And we're going to be recording the Mass Impact podcast virtually. And I thought it would be great to add one more great voice. So wondered if last minute you might be available tomorrow, Saturday, morning, 9 a.m. Sorry, forgive me, I'm walking and talking here at the same time. And if not, no stress, no pressure. I know it's last minute. Like I said, I'd like to get you on there at some point anyway, so we can always schedule for the future if that doesn't work. Our topic tomorrow is preparing students for the workforce. So our other guest is a high school principal, and I know you work with high schoolers as well, but I also know that I looked at some of your things that you do like so much good work with elementary students and helping them with life skills and peacemaking and self-control. And forgive me if I don't have that correct, but that's the kind of perspective I was thinking might be helpful for you to share. So we have, that high school voice, and then I thought it might be kind of great to add your work, your perspective in working with elementary students on some of those skills that end up preparing for them for the workforce as well, when they've got some good positive life skills in place. So anyway, sorry I'm rambling, but that was my thought. And I'm just checking in to see what your thoughts are. So tomorrow, Saturday morning, 9 a.m. And if it works, I'll send you the link, and we'd love for you to join us. And if it doesn't, we'll grab you another time. No worries. All right, thanks so much.
There it is. Do I get a voice text? Do I get a voice memo like that from Katie Davis if I was never in the room? If I was never at Phenomenal Life? If I was never in Michigan?
You were never there.
If I was never there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then after the pod, she texted me and said, wow.
Zope.
And after that, she said, wow, it's such a great podcast. We can't wait to have you on another time during the year. And then she said, again, just conversations are happening because she sees the exposure, not my exposure to them, or not their exposure to me, but also my exposure to them, just being who I am and just doing what I do, being in my element. So for those of you, again, that are listening, here's a takeaway. Be you. We can't say this time and time again. Be authentically you, and really let people see you for who you really are, what you really do, and what you're all about, for your heart, for your passions. And again, when you have those opportunities, just make sure you take full advantage of it. So yeah, Mass Impact, the Educators Podcast. Super excited to just, again, she was like, yeah, it'll just be me and E. She's so casual, right? It'll just be me and E. And
it's me and E.
we had Dr. J on there. Yeah, the Dr. J. He was
one
so
other
cool.
dude.
Dr. McGee. And he was like, hey, you know what? I want to get your information. I'm a principal at one of these school, at my school down in Michigan. And he was like, yeah, I'd love to see how we can collaborate. So
that's dope. Hey, and I like you said, like I don't want to say I push people. Someone described it to me in a way that I was like, okay, that's more like warm. Like it's more welcoming. I'm understanding that people need the emotion, even though that's not really done around. Like I love on people, like you said, like I push people in a loving way. But I'm all about, like someone said, I see people. Like you have such a gift to see people. And like you said, that domino effect, your gift shall make room for you. Like we said before, the whole reason we have this, I'm going to get used to this camera thing eventually, but this little box thing on the side, that's a door. Like results will create more results. More doors will open up as you continue to have results. Nothing speaks success like success. But for those of you who are overthinkers, I'm not saying that you don't think, but you overthink and you overanalyze and you sit there and debate on what you should or you shouldn't, and what's the financial cost, what's the time cost. I mean, yeah, you can take that in consideration, but when it came to Phenomenal Life, like my thing was, y'all need to be there. That was it for you and Daniel. I was like, y'all need to be there. You have to. There's going to come an opportunity because you asked me about doing this podcast. And I was like, yo, we going, if Phenomenal Life's coming up, we got Mexico, y'all need to be there. And look how many opportunities and some people are like, oh, that's cool. Like this a nice vacation for y'all to go hang out at. And we referenced it a few times. Like, yo, those are called, what are those called, bro? What are those conferences called?
Phenomenal Life conferences?
Live. Yeah, what are they called?
Like professional development?
Do you know? Nah, they're called exposure events.
Oh, exposure events. Okay. Yeah, me
So
thinking I
those
was
are called
getting facts.
so those are called exposure events. A lot of people go there with the mindset of, oh, cool, I'm gonna go to wherever it is, Mexico, Jamaica. Make Real Estate Real is gonna be in Dominican Republic this year. So if you're not in it, you want to make Real Estate Real, so you can go to the family reunion that's in, in Dominican Republic. But those events are called exposure events. And you go there with a certain level of servitude and a certain expectation for you to demonstrate who you are so you can expose your talents to other people, not out there trying to, trying to play, out there trying to play the game of, oh, can I get something out of this? But literally, like, you just authentically, like Rhy said, be you, like, be authentically you, who you are, do what you do naturally in the most organic form that you can. And your gift shall make room for you. It's going to open up so many doors. So, I mean, all of this is coming from one. Rhy said, hey, God put in my heart that I want to do a podcast and I want to do it with you. And I was like, bro, let's go. Rhy's like, let's pray on it. I'm like, bro, let's go.
I'm all, hey, I pray on everything. You right.
Yeah,
That's
but
right.
in my head, he's like, yo, God put it in my heart. Well, then we doing it.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody else put it there.
And let's pause. Let's pause right there. Let's pause, because how many times do people have these inspirations and have these thoughts, or they hear God? And again, I'm not here trying to talk about public and private revelation, if it was really God or not. I'm not here to discern that, because I know a lot of people get into that. How do you know God really told you, right? But it was on my heart, nonetheless, to do something with you. So let's even, now we're not saying this in a negative way, right? Let's just even remove the God part out of that. If something is on your heart, act on it. Like, how many times when you have things on your heart that are just, you're convicted about, people just pass it up and they say, maybe next time, or maybe tomorrow, or maybe another time, maybe another day. And I think that's where a lot of us, is why a lot of us don't get results, why a lot of us aren't moving the needle, why a lot of us aren't moving forward in life, is because of the simple fact that when something is heavy and, it's heavy on our heart in a good way, we just let it go and we ignore it. And so Ray was like, no, let's go. Let's do it. And then Ray was like, let's take it to the next level. It was like, we're going to do the virtual because that's all we got right now. But every opportunity we have to do it in person, we're going to do it in person.
Mm-hmm. And we got one coming next week.
Facts.
We're going to be working. We're going to be working.
Facts. Yeah. So that's just
Everybody
a little bit
of,
yeah, just, a little bit of just kind of the ways that the results that have been showing up. And then also lately we've been connected with some other folks in the community, just, around financial strategies, which has been really cool. Just learning, how to leverage like credit and leverage your finances and just be strategic so that you're getting the maximum benefits from what you already do. So that's been a, shout out to Eva for I've been connecting with her. Danielle and I should say have been connecting with her, getting some really good information, and then just being able to pass that on and just really apply. More important, like our last episode that dropped, right? Learn, apply, learn, receive, apply, level up. So, but what's going on with you, bro? I know you've been running and gunning. So just break down what has business life been like for you in the last week or so.
I mean, I don't know if it's too much gunning right now. It's a lot of running though. I mean, I took a knee, man. You do. We've talked about it before. Like, you gotta rest. So I hit up Denver for a couple of days, man. Just, I ain't never been, man. Heard nothing but good things about it. So literally just checked out, just decompressed, man. Massage, got me a nice 20. I told you, but that's what men typically talk about. And I know Rhy's a steak guy, so I got me a nice 20-ounce porterhouse, bison steak. That thing was, bro. I was like, I know, I'll definitely be going back, but really pushing into this space, this coaching space. Been testing out some things. I don't know if the one-on-one stuff is for me, because again, it does takes up a lot of time when you're doing the one-on-one. So we're going to be pushing into jumping on, group coaching. I always tell people, like, don't get so caught up and get hyped in what you're doing that you miss the business model. And we're in this mastermind. I'm not missing the business model, so I'm going to create something similar at a certain level. Because if you are at a certain level, you are levels above or a level above other people, and you can help those people get. So if you, CJ talks about it all the time, man, if you a 2, you'll help those people get to a 1 and then get them up to a 2. But through that process of helping them get to a 2, you probably going to increase to at least a 2.5. Like, you gonna learn some stuff so you can continue to increase your levels. So that's the focus right now. I got my social media manager working on flyers and stuff like that, so we can start pushing for next month. Working on another book. This one a little bit more intentional than what the last one was. Last one was just like, let's do this. So that's up and out there as far as the decision making and stuff like that. But this next book's going to be a bit long, a couple hundred pages. Working on that, obviously in my master's program right now. So we got to sign. I got one more left for this class, but I've already enrolled in the next. I for those of y'all who don't know, I am not a what do you call it? A traditional education.
Like a studious
fan.
person in that way?
I am not a studious person in that capacity. I prefer, this. I like to conversate and learn why and how people are doing certain things when it comes to that. But I don't want to, man, we'll just roll right into that then. Like what I was saying with your shirt, as far as your level of exposure will determine your level of success. I know a lot of us, and we do demonstrate that, you and I, through conversations about exposure as far as the community of people we're exposed to. In that capacity, and this, and honestly though, it's some people will use that as an excuse as I can't get into the community because whatever reason, geographically restricted, financially restricted, relationally, whatever it is that you can't get into the community of people because of other external restrictions. But you control your ear gate, you control your eye gate. What are you exposing yourself to on a daily as far as the information that you're taking in to increase your level of success? To increase that level of success. And I know this is when we start talking about certain things that are on your heart, and you're like, I want to remove all the, religion, whatever else it is. Like, but if it's on your heart, then it's something that you need to act on. And this is where we start talking about, okay, if you are not spiritual and you are not religious, and we'll go spiritual before that, but like, okay, I knew you and I formed you in your mother's womb before, but what's the first thing that tells you that there is life, that you exist in your mother's womb? How do we know that? We hear the heartbeat. When you go get an ultrasound, what they're listening for and they're looking for is a heartbeat. They're not looking for brain waves. They're not looking for your conversation. They're not looking for little finger moves. Bro, we're looking for a heartbeat. So the very first thing that we know that you are alive and that you exist in this world as a human being person is a heartbeat. And we dismiss that sometimes. And even me sometimes when I'm running on the facts base. At the end of the day, the things that pushes you, when we talk about energy and emotion, your emotions, it comes from your heart. So when you have something on your heart, that is the first thing that tells you that you have life. So there's something in your heart that needs life, that needs to be brought to life. So stop smothering it and stop worrying about what other people are going to say about the things that are on your heart, because it's on yours and it's for you to create. But you have to expose yourself to these types of conversations to have faith. And again, if you don't want to be spiritual, that's fine on you. It's not fine with me, but that's fine on you. That you have faith in the essence of you need to be able to believe in yourself, to act upon the thing that is on your heart, to give it life, to get the results that you want, to expose that thing to other people that will continue to give you more life because they're going to feed you for the thing you've been feeding them. But if you don't, what do you say? We hanging out with flatliners?
Flatliners, man.
Yeah.
Those without, and what is it? The flatline is the opposite of a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Right? It's the opposite of a heartbeat, bro. It's the opposite of a heartbeat. And anyway, as we're just talking about exposure, like let's just open this up. And I want to be very transparent when it comes to exposure. So first of all, shout out to you for what you did in Denver, because when you went to Denver, basically what you exposed yourself to while you were on a break was exposing yourself to relaxation, exposing yourself to rest, exposing yourself to new experiences that can rejuvenate, recharge, and restore you. So let's be clear when we talk about exposure, and we're going to talk about it on different levels on this episode. We're here. The other type of exposure that I want to really be clear with, and like Ray said, You may not have the the opportunities because of where you live or the time or maybe even the resources, right? Many of us all met or know E through YouTube and then the S2S podcast. And so I remember when I didn't have, when the masterminds weren't out or I didn't have the money or I couldn't do the programs, the S2S podcast was what I was exposing myself to. However, the challenge that I had and what got me, I'm not in trouble, but what really messed me up was I was listening to S2S podcast. I was listening to Evan Carmichael's podcast. I was listening to like multiple Jim Quicks, Tony Robbins, like all different kinds of folks. I was exposing myself to all different kinds of personal development, professional development folks, which again, nothing, no knock on them, but what I learned and what I'm realizing and what I decided to do this time differently was block everyone else out who was not in alignment with ETA. So when I did Game Changers, Extreme Execution, and now the UOU Mastermind, I was only focusing on what we were learning there and applying it. Because see, for me as a high flight attendant, I'll see something else and I'll try that. But I haven't really given the full effort and attention to what's already in front of me. It's like Next Level Speakers Academy. Like people were like, aren't you going to do that? Danielle was like, aren't you going to? Because, that's Jeremy Anderson. That's the whole crew. That's the new version of Game Changers or the next chapter of the speaking program that he is a part of. But I already got so much game. I mean, bruh, right here. I got the playbook. I got all the plays, right? I got so much already right here that let me make sure that I maximize what's in front of me first before moving on to the next thing. So takeaway, when you expose yourself to something or someone or a group or a program, give it your honest, and full attention. Give it your honest effort to execute on every single thing that they offer. Because what ends up happening is if it doesn't work, then you blame the program. If it doesn't work, then you blame, whoever's in charge. When in reality, the systems and the steps and the tools that they provide actually really work. It's just you that's not doing the work. And again, not because you don't want to, but because maybe you're getting distracted and you're getting pulled in all these different directions. So I don't know, Ray, if you could speak to that, if that's something that you ever experienced where you were locking in and then all of a sudden something else pulled you and then something else pulled you this way and you couldn't give it your full attention and energy, which didn't actually yield any results or yielded watered down results.
Not in the sense of, because I do listen to other, other individuals, other communities, other programs. But for me, it's in the sense of I understand what what we've done as far as the extreme execution piece of understanding your personality type. I look at those things in the sense of you understand that when you do it, you dive in for the experience. And if you have a bunch of different experiences at the same time, that just causes mass confusion. What I look for is, does this move the needle in the direction of the things that I want to accomplish? The book that I'm working on now is from the results of another community that I'm working in. But it does not take away from the same results. Like it does directly influence me wanting to be a coach and what that can be used as to leverage that business model. So that again, that's me understanding my personality style and the results of it. So I look at the results and these things can provide. So as long as you understand who you are as an individual, it all comes down with awareness before you can move. So the moment that you were aware that, okay, these things are just causing me to be all over the place. Okay, I need to limit the things that are distractions for me.
Yep.
For me, it's a matter of time expectation as far as when these results can actually happen. Because I want to move at that pace. I want results, and
Pilot.
What's that commercial? I want my money, and I want my money, and I want it now.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
So,
for sure.
Yeah, and that's what I've had to learn is like, okay, let me slow down my expectations when the time is right. If a decision has to be made, the thing that we're working on that I was telling you earlier, that's I need to get this out to people. I'm like, okay, if that was me And what we're talking about, by the time it's released, like we already have it out. Like we had to create a script or create some sort of thing to welcome cohort 2 into this mastermind group. And because we don't know names, we don't know sizes, we don't know numbers, we don't know how many people are there when we go to Atlanta, like what we're doing is we're creating like a video montage. And I asked for input. And, you know, it wasn't a whole lot of time frame between then and now. And I kind of came up with, okay, let's do this video. And I did the video freestyle and was like, okay, we'll create a script off this because we didn't really get a whole lot of input, and then I'll push it out there. But I tried to redo it because the other one was literally just, you know, you and Danielle was like, I don't know about you pacing and stuff. I was like, yo, I was literally trying to think about what to say next. Like there's no, it was, hey, what you said, like it wasn't even on my heart, bro. It was like on my mind because I'm like, we got to get a result done. And I was like, I don't have 2 weeks to think about it. I have 2 weeks to show a result, and this can't be from Ray. This has to be from cohort 1. So what can I do that is from cohort 1 that shows the community effort, involvement, all of us working on something together, but because we're all geographically separated, to where we can present this as a welcome to the fam. And it was that. But once I kicked out, like I said, I kicked out that script, and then I tried to do it from the script today. And I was like, yo, this is killing me. Like, you know, from me doing a freestyle to me doing it from the script, completely different. I would much rather, because the freestyle thing is I get the result quicker. I get it immediately. The script is I got to take some time. I got to rehearse. I got to, check tempo, check time, check delivery. But I'll try, bro. I'm trying to read it. It's just like, but when you understand who you are, it's like, okay, I'm going to have to work on this a little bit of time, and I'm going to have to give people time. And if I wasn't aware of who I actually am, I probably would have been like, bro, like I gave that to them this morning. They should have had it to me already. That was just my expectation. So when you understand who you are and you're trying to get certain things, you can separate and remove the things that become distractions, even though you think that these are things that are going to uplift me, these are things that are going to improve me, but they become distractions because you don't know who you are and how you respond to external, what are we talking about? Like external, I don't want to say influences, but yeah, we'll call it influence. Like external influences, you don't know how you respond to it, so you continue to do it, and it's just having that negative, like there's no positive return on it. It's the lack of
self-awareness. It's the lack of self-awareness.
You don't have that awareness. You continue to dive into these things, and it's doing nothing for you, and then you say, "Oh, it doesn't work." That does. I've been exposed to things and people, and that doesn't work.
It's like doing the same thing over and over, and you get the same results, but you're not. Even aware
that's insanity. Yeah, it's insanity. So what I will say though is I am fully immersed in ETA. I am fully immersed in ETA. Yeah. I won't do that in any other. I can't be fully immersed in ETA and partially immersed somewhere else.
Sure.
There's not we can say give 120%, 120, but there is not 120% of Ray physically available, mentally available.
That's good. I like that. The difference between exposure and being immersed.
And immersed, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
So you have to be able to, if you want to increase that level of success, you have to expose yourself to different conversations, different input. I'm not saying actual conversation with physical people. If there is a podcast, there's a book. We've talked about this multiple times. The things that you're watching, are you binging any type of streaming platform that just, I'm not saying you can't take, like I took three whole days just to, I have to mentally give myself a break just to disconnect. I'm not saying I didn't, jump in on a podcast, it's part of me. It's part of what I do now. But, literally went on walks, bro, like literally just walk, got a massage, food, just checked out, I even went to a couple of open houses while I was there. That's still part of me, The agent was like, she's like, oh, you seem like you got a good eye. You got any recommendations for me to tell the seller? Now I was like, okay, they need to fix this, but it's like tapping into that piece. And she's like, oh, well, are you an Asian? I was like, no, I live in Texas. It's like, I just saw your sign. So I figured I'd pop in and see how y'all do things down here in Denver. But exposure it's not limited to, you definitely want to get to those events where now you're exposed to an entire community and population of people that have that drive and that do want to see you win and that they're winning themselves. And Kevin Hart, the best way, I just found when you surround yourself with winners, it's just easier to win.
Yeah. I mean, it's the culture. It's the culture.
Yeah.
And when you
Yeah.
develop that culture, like when I was in Miami talking to these teachers, and I'm teaching them all these new tools, to stop and breathe, iMessage cleanup, and they're like, "Oh, these tools sound great, but it's going to be so hard for us to execute and do it at our school because we have 800 kids, and they're giving me all these reasons and
Excuses.
challenges that they have." And I said, "Well, first of all, let's be clear. Number one, like anything new, it's gonna have a learning curve." And you always use the analogy about working out, right? You tear your muscles in a good way when you work out. You're sore, it's uncomfortable. You're tired. You got giraffe legs. You sidestep down the steps, whatever that might be. It's uncomfortable, right? But when you get through that uncomfort, it becomes stronger. Your muscles have more capacity. And so the same thing with these tools that we teach, especially when it comes to, emotional intelligence, it's learned and learnable, but it's going to be uncomfortable. So number one, I always lay that down. It's going to be uncomfortable in the beginning, like anything we do brand new. But I said, number two, if we really want to share with young people and our students the power of these tools and the impact, then we got to use it on ourselves first. Like we have to be fully immersed in these tools and well-versed and know it. And when we can do that and we expose them, so we immerse ourselves into it, then we expose our students and create that culture and go through that uncomfortableness and learn and grow, then we can really move the needle. And I think that what you were saying earlier around when you were talking about like, what we take in and what we put out, understand thyself. And Ray has been, I've seen your growth personally, and professionally, but personally as well, as even in your conversations and your texts with me, your timing and your pace. I'm like, oh, okay. He's giving me space now. He's giving me a little bit more time, like, because he's still giving me assignments, but he's understanding, and I understand him too. So I got to just give direct answers, like either yes, no, I'm doing it. Here's a screenshot, because I also know that because pilots are results driven, we really don't care for the fluff, like did you get it done or not. But your wording and your verbiage has been like, the communication has been like, it's been different in such a good way. So yeah, understand thyself. And like Ray said, knowing who you are, more importantly, how you are. When you have that level of self-awareness and you really start knowing what does self-care look like for you. When you talked about, Netflix or, social media, like what do you take in? And if your level of self-awareness tells you, hey, I could take that in and still be good and still move the needle, hey, have at it. But if your level of self-awareness says, oh, if I start taking that in, I'm going to binge. I'm going to go down the rabbit hole. I'm going to just keep going and going and going and going. And then I'm going to look up and be like, oh, man, what happened? Nothing's getting done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it right there. I think there's a lot of folks who are going to be in denial too, or who don't even want to have that level of self-awareness because they're scared of what they really might see. So what would you say to those people, right, who are like, man, I know if I get exposed or if I see myself for, where I'm really at, like people who are scared to even see where they're at because they know they're already in a, and maybe in a difficult position or a messed up situation. What would you say to them?
Like those that are scared to just
like face the truth of where they are and who they are in this moment. Like, like they messing up. They know they're making unhealthy choices.
Yeah.
They ain't living the life that, they know isn't going to get them where they want to go. Cause I'm sure your coaching clients.
I was listening to something earlier and I like the way that they phrased it. Like if you're enjoying the experience if you're enjoying your current experience, put that in any category of life, relationships, business, work, whatever it is. If you're enjoying the experience that you have, your blueprint is working. If the blueprint is working, but you're not enjoying the experience, you're out of alignment. If you've applied a new blueprint and your experience increases, but you don't modify the blueprint, this is what happens when we backslide. So this is like when people, you say I use the gym analogy, people go, they want to work on their summer body, they get their summer body right, and then they just right back at it during the fall. They have that whole, we call that backsliding. That's because you didn't adjust your blueprint on how you do things on a day-to-day basis. So if you are in a space, because you said, again, awareness. The awareness piece can be just recognizing that you are not satisfied with where you're currently at in life, in any capacity, whatever area it is. Your blueprint is not working. So you have to make the adjustment. So we talk about assess, become aware, make the adjustment. If your blueprint, whatever it is that you're currently experiencing, that's based off your current blueprint. You have to modify and adjust your blueprint or adopt someone else's to change your experience. So whether you're afraid or not, it's new. Like you said, it's like the teachers are like, okay, this is great, but there's all these excuses, all these reasons, whatever it is, all these barriers as to why you possibly cannot do it. That's out of fear of the unknown. I don't know what's going to come out of this. That's true, you don't, but you know what's coming out of what you're currently doing. And at that point, at that for me, that should be all. That is enough to know that what you're doing is creating the current experience that you don't want to be experiencing. And the only things you can do is make the adjustment. If you don't know what adjustment to make, just look at somebody else's model that you want to mimic. The 9-to-5 millionaire was the one that I wanted to mimic. My model, my blueprint was not working. And I'm still making adjustments every single day. You talking about the way I speak, the way that I text. I'm still making adjustments every single day.
Facts.
And they're not huge. They're not like drastic where you're just causing shock to the body, shock to whatever. I'm making adjustments because I want to continue, as my experience increases, I have to continue to build my blueprint up so it can sustain or continue to improve my experience. So if you're afraid, that's good. That means you know there's something else coming. But be afraid. I don't know. Don't be afraid. Be uncomfortable. Because we talk about fear when we're saying being afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't just identify it as you are uncomfortable. And it's uncomfortable because it's something new. But you want something new because you want a new experience. Because the current one that you're involved with, whatever it is, throw this in any category you want. It's not working. It's not what you have for yourself. So if you're not meeting the expectations that you have for life and the experiences aren't matching your expectations because your blueprint's not working.
Ooh, love that. Love that, bro. Yeah, that's good. And again, right, we think about blueprints. We think about all the different steps that we're taking. And I'm just going to keep it on the exposure and immersion piece since you brought that in. I'm going to say, here's some homework. Here's some self-awareness homework for y'all as you're watching this. And I'm going to just keep it real simple, real simple. Number one, evaluate your week, your day, your month. What do you expose yourself to? Like, what are you exposed to majority of the day? Number one. And then ask yourself, out of all the things that you're exposed to, what do you immerse yourself into? Like Ray said, he's exposed to all different kinds of personal development, influencers or thought leaders, which is great. I'm the same way. I got a handful of people I listen to that I'm exposed to, but just like Ray, I'm fully immersed in the ETA community. I'm fully immersed in UOU Mastermind. So then the second question is, what do you fully immerse yourself into? And then the last question, like we even say in our coaching, is that helping or hurting you when it comes to the goals that you have in your life, whether that's physical, emotional, spiritual, financial, academic, or relational goals, whatever those priorities, I don't even use the word goals, whatever those priorities are in your life is what you're exposed to, your level of immersion, helping you or hurting you reach those priorities.
Absolutely.
And be real with yourself. And the more you can be real with where you are and then really start making those little adjustments, like Ray said, don't have to be nothing huge, doesn't have to be anything major, but just little tweaks, because we're always going to grow. The moment we think that we got it all figured out, that we don't need to grow, is the moment we actually don't know anything at all. And I think that's where a lot of people get complacent. And I think we did a whole episode on complacency, but if not, we should do one. But at the end of the day, I feel like that's where, again, thinking about this exposure, thinking about immersion, what do you immerse yourself into? And then lastly, is it really helping you or hurting you when it comes to the priorities that you have in your life? and is it moving the needle? So, Ray, bro, man, there's so many other things that were going on in my mind while you were sharing, and I don't even got my notebook today to write them down. So I'm gonna leave that as my last final thought. Ray, bro, final thoughts for the people as we are again just wrapping up another episode, and just the levels. And today obviously was inspired by Jamal King. Shout out to Jamal King and what he's done for our community and just the relationships that we have with him. But yeah, just on that note of exposure, immersion, or just anything else that maybe came to mind while you were sharing today for our people.
I want to see if we can wrap this up in a way that, from the guidance that, old Danielle Ramirez, my sister pilot, your household commander in charge,
Beautiful
if
bride.
we can do
Yes,
it this
sir.
way. So we're gonna see if we can do it this way. So, we always say, don't go with us, just, don't just go with us, grow with us. So when you going through all these things that you're actually looking to, the questions that Rhy asked you, what are you exposed to? Like, what does your time look like? Your time audit. What are you doing? What are you immersing yourself into? Go through. We talk about this is the road to results. This is a road. This is a journey. This is travel. And one of the things that it takes to go through this journey is endurance. You have to build that endurance. You have to build that rep. And every time that we go through this process, you got to understand every small thing that you do that is in that direction of what you want, that moves the hypothetical needle into the direction of the experience that you want to have in this life. You need to celebrate those wins, because every time you celebrate those wins, it re-encourages and reinforces the life that you want to have, and it supports the efforts that you are taking every single day. Sometimes as we're going through this road and this journey to results, we diminish and dismiss the small victories that we have, which discourages us from getting to the bigger goal. Or we try to sprint through that journey and then we burn out, we blow a gasket, and then we're just done and we quit. So, and then we try to go, we stop, we start, we stop, we start. So pace yourself as you're moving through this process, as you're moving towards the direction, as you're going through this. So as we go through this process, glean from us if you don't have your own. Take our blueprint, take someone else's blueprint, adopt that one, and immerse yourself into it. Immerse yourself into it until you're getting the results that you want from that process. And as you continue to immerse it, you'll make small adjustments that'll make that blueprint yours, because that is your life. That is your results. That is your vision. That is your journey that you are going on. No matter how many people that you bring into this effort, in this process, it is still yours and yours alone. It'll only be yours. God gave you that vision and that journey for you to encounter so that you can demonstrate to others that it's possible, but they're never going to be on your path because the path is narrow, and you have to be on your path to experience what has been destined for you. And you have to truly believe that and trust the process. But it is okay to look to another person to see, how are you taking these steps? So as we go through this process, as we continue to show you the road to results, and as we grow through this journey, understand that it is okay to take it little by little. As long as you have a blueprint, as long as you're exposing yourself to the right things that are going to give you the level of success that you want to have in your life, because it is subjective. But it's your level of exposure, not mine, not anybody else's around you. It is your level of exposure. And it's up to you what level you want that to be. So if it's okay with y'all, and if it's okay with Mrs. Ramirez, as we always say at the end of this podcast,
Come on.
bruh, don't just go with us.
Grow with us,
with
y'all. Come on, grow with us. Yes, y'all. That is it. That is it. That is all. Man, bro, appreciate you again. And thank you for all of you who are listening and following. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment on this podcast, and share the link. Again, this is all about growing together. And with that, until next time, y'all, continue to just be the most authentic version of yourself. And we're out of here, y'all. Peace.
Peace.